Class 1, Step 4, Identifying Homes You Like.
I guess we should start out by saying, Rebecca, identifying homes using rational data. If you're going to enter the housing market, you've really got to get armed with information, data. You've got to understand the market data, and don't be afraid by how intimidating it might look. There's vital facts about your market that you can get from your real estate agent. One of the first things that you want to consider is what's called median price.
What is median price?
A median price, for example, of 101 sold homes would be that price, that particular dollar amount, which is lower than half of the prices and also at the same time higher than half of the prices. I hope that makes sense.
Charles, I keep hearing about this thing called hot price range. What is that?
Hot price range is really that price range in your community where the majority of all the activity is happening. So, you've got to ask yourself, what are 70 to 80% of all the homes in your area selling for? And whatever that number is, for example, if that number is 250,000, and if you happen to be qualified for 250,000, you got to get ready for some competition, because that's the hot price range in your market. It's where most of the activity is happening. Maybe a very small percentage of the activity is happening at 300 or 350,000, but 200 to 250 is where everyone's buying. That makes that range the hot price range.
All right. What are some of the other market data that we as buyers should be looking at before we buy a home?
Days on market is a very important one, Rebecca. That basically is a reflection of how quickly homes are moving once they hit the market. If the homes are coming off the market after just 5 days or 10 days, it means that you really got to be ready to act quickly on homes you like. And your realtor can very easily pull up an average days on market in the neighborhood that you're looking at. Some of the other things that you want to look out for is obviously a sex offender list for the area that you're in, especially if you've got young kids. That becomes even more important. Trends in inventory, how many homes are available in your market. Remember, the less the inventory, the more the competition. At the present rate, you've got to ask yourself, how many months would it take to run out of inventory? Now, according to, I guess you'd call real estate, super economists or specialists, a 6-month supply of for sale inventory is indicative of a balanced market. So a number that's higher than 6 months means it's leaning towards a buyer's market, so prices are more favorable to buyers. And if that inventory is less than 6 months worth, then it would probably indicate a seller's market. Now, here's an example. Let's say in November of 2011, there were 180 homes for sale in Corona Del Mar, zip code 92625. And if during the past 30 days there were 11 homes sold in that market, that means, if you just get a quick calculator, there's 16.36 months of inventory of homes available in the market. It's real easy to arrive at that figure.
Okay. What is a CMA?
A CMA is abbreviation, Rebecca, for comparative market analysis. Basically what your realtor is going to be able to do is pull up all the comparable sales to a property or series of properties you're interested in and present that to you. And that comparable list is going to show what homes like the home that you're looking at have sold for, and or what homes are listed for presently on the market that are similar to what you're looking at.
Okay. So what are some of the things that we're going to be looking at when we're actually out driving around and looking at homes?
Once you've decided that you're armed with ample information in terms of rational data, we talked about median price, we talked about hot price range, we talked about days on market, trends in inventory, the CMA. So you're pretty clued up by now. You're ready to get in the car. You know what to expect in that community. Looking for homes is a whole nother ball game. Remember, first and foremost, that you're buying the entire neighborhood. You're not just buying your home. Your neighbors come with that home. Okay, their loud parties and their dogs barking at night is going to be a part of your neighborhood that you move into. And so it's important to investigate things like that. You want to know about the school district. that you're buying in. Try to check up on that school district and its report rates. What fits my lifestyle? If you've got kids, is there a library nearby? Is there a safe playing area nearby? How far is it to get to school? If you're someone like me that frequents coffee shops a lot and sits there for hours on end with my laptop, is there a coffee shop nearby? How close is public transportation or even a rail rink if that's important to you?
So would my realtor be able to provide me with that information?
To some extent, yes. The multiple listing service and the printouts that your real estate agent is going to give you is going to have a lot of that on there. But quite honestly, once you have an address, Rebecca, you can go online and especially with the search engines now, Google and Yahoo and whatever, you can look all around neighborhoods and see what's available. Some things there's really no substitute for except just going out there and plain outright knocking on doors. Don't be afraid to knock on doors and ask people about the neighborhoods. Hey, I'm thinking about moving in here. I've got young kids. How do you like living here? What is it like? How long have you guys been here? Most neighbors wouldn't consider that intrusive or rude. Who knows? They might have done that before they moved into the neighborhood.
I was actually about to ask if they would take offense to that.
Some you never can tell. Most folks, I think, these days are not going to take offense, especially with all the things that you have to be aware of when you're moving into a neighborhood. I think most folks will be willing to give up useful information. One thing that's very important is that you've got to write down your wish list and have it very distinct to your must list.
What's a wish list?
A wish list will be something that you can do without. You don't absolutely have to have. It's not a do or die thing. It will be nice for you to have it. You kind of want to have it, but it's not something that will be a deal killer if everything else about the home fit. A must list, on the other hand, is different. It's something that is mandatory to make the home make sense for you. For example, if you've got 3 teenage kids, a 4-bedroom home might be a must. If you've got plenty of dogs or pets, a decent yard size might be a must. If grandma's moving in with you, a downstairs bedroom might be a must. Now, something that might be on the wish list might be, I don't know, a bedroom balcony or a fireplace or something. So there's obviously a distinct difference between what's a wish list and what's a must list.
Where can I look up local sex offenders? I don't want my kids exposed to that. Does my realtor provide that information?
Your realtor can give you some information on it. There's a couple of important websites that you can look up, which you can actually find their web addresses on our blog. But quite honestly, there's never an ultimate way to know, hey, this neighborhood or this street does not have sex offenders. Just because you get a list of sex offenders, that doesn't mean that the house right next door doesn't have one. They're not always properly registered. So all you can do is follow the steps, take action to be as safe as you can and be as informed as you can. Yes, your realtor can give you some information. There's plenty of website information available on our blog, and you yourself can go online and do some of that research yourself.
Okay, so we've talked about sex offenders. I guess my other question is, say I really like a home. What should I look for when I'm walking through the property?
When you're walking through the property for the first time, a lot of things should come to mind. You might want to grab a note and a notepad and take that with you. Is there enough room for both your present family size and your future family size? Like if you're planning on having kids or having your parents or grandparents moving with you, then you've got to look at not just what you're looking at there at the time, but is this enough for what's going to happen in the future? Is the house structurally sound? Keep in mind that older homes have issues. Will the furniture that I have already fit in this space? Or am I going to have to go get rid of this furniture and buy new furniture? Do the mechanical systems and the appliances work? You may want to stand still in each room and wait for cars to pass by and see how noisy that is, or is there a lot of noise getting in, or are the windows soundproof? Energy efficiency is a big deal these days. Remember that older homes might have high bills because of the old insulation systems.
Whose responsibility is it to update these installation systems?
Well, if they become a hazard, then it's going to be the owner's responsibility to update them. If they're not considered a hazard, really there's no mandate that they have to be updated. You as the buyer may ask during the offer process, if you smell problems, you may ask for them to be repaired or updated, but you also run the risk of the seller turning your offer down.
Kind of like a double-edged sword there.
It really is. You've got, when you're looking through the home, Rebecca, you've just got to ask yourself, okay, here's, be aware of what the problems are, be willing to walk away from the home if they can't be fixed, and be willing to face the reality that the seller may not be willing to fix them. Some of the other things that you want to take into consideration are, do I like the floor plan? Is the home well lit, or is it kind of dingy? I mean, if you can go through during the daytime, is it kind of dingy and dark in there? Are the ceilings low or are they high? Is there room for additions? If you're someone that's ambitious that wants to put some additions on there, is there even room for that? Is there enough storage space in the home? And as we just mentioned, of course, very important is, does anything have to be repaired or replaced, especially at the time of move-in? I mean, if you've got trashed carpets or appliances that are falling apart or something, or kitchen cabinets that are completely outdated, you've got to weigh the cost. Is that going to be something you're going to need to deal with right away?
What is the process? Say something does need to be repaired, and I'm questioning whether it's my responsibility or the seller's responsibility. Where do I go from there?
Great question. Great question. It comes up a lot, especially in a situation, Rebecca, where you've got a lot of bank-owned properties in the market. Bank-owned properties, for example, typically the seller, the bank, is not going to want to or not be willing to do any kind of repairs at all. They're going to sell the home as is. Now, this poses a problem if you're getting certain types of financing, namely FHA or VA or USDA financing, government-backed loans, because there are more strict property standards required, and the appraiser is probably going to go mention things. Now, you can hit a deadlock if the appraiser or even the home inspector mentions stuff that needs to be repaired or is a hazard, and the seller's saying, I'm not going to fix it. You might have to walk away from that home. You see, in a private sale, it becomes negotiable. You can ask the seller, hey, I need you to fix this and this and this because our lender's demanding it, or because we consider it a hazard. Realize that the seller might have the prerogative to raise the purchase price on you. They might say to you, well, yeah, we'll go fix it on our dime, but we're going to bump the price on you. So it's really a negotiation.
Okay, I see. So this is what you're talking about when you say weigh the pros and cons.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of times most buyers will say, hey, my uncle Jack will come in here and do some of the repair work as a favor. There might be some things you're better off not asking the seller to do. Of course, if there are issues that are hazardous, then not only do you have to ask, but your lender might force you to have those things resolved and taken care of.